What is up, y'all? It's your boy Aniki. We are back at the Kagurabachi stream. Now, we left off with a plan that is, let's be honest, not going to work. But uh, we still have to try, right? Like, we still got to try mankind's oldest trick of throw big rock. As an aside, a happy Mother's Day to those of you who have moms worth celebrating. Uh, You already know over here, we don't pretend all moms are worth celebrating. So, see plenty off-topic sections in Church of MHA streams to discussing the Todoroki family. What up, Mello? First one in. All right. Let's get into it. Because I got a feeling this is going to have me talking a lot. Is today the day you sell your Mashiro stocks? Let's find out on today's episode of Kagurabachi. Oh, yeah, that's right. Character polls out. You know what? Look at that. A main character getting first place. It's unheard of. It's cinema. No, I'm kidding. Luffy gets first place in most of his polls for One Piece. So it's not impossible, but it's good to see Chihiro getting number one. Let's see, we got number two is Yoji Uraha. I'm actually surprised that Uraha got second place. I kind of would have expected either Hakuri, Shiba to get it. Samura being top five, though, does not surprise me at all. And what up, Giorno Giovanna and Tiger Blaster? Oh, we only get to see the top five? That makes me a little sad. Oh, where's the rest of the top 10 posted? Man, hold on. Do we have the rest of the top 10 posted in Discord? Let me look at this shit real quick. Let me look at the rest of this shit real quick. All right, look, if somebody can post the link to the rest of the top 10, that would be greatly appreciated. Because if the rest of the top 10 is trash, I need to know. Oh, wait, that means Giorno finally got caught up. That means Giorno is finally caught up. Hey. We'll wait for Giorno to catch up for a while now. All right. Let me see. See, I'm waiting to see that post. I got to see the rest of the popularity now because that's crazy. Like, Samura is obviously a top 5 in the series. I just want to, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd expect Sojo to still be in the top 10, even though, like, he's not necessarily relevant anymore. You know? There we go. I'm looking right now, Mello. Okay, Azami at number 8. Hey, who the fuck is number 6? Okay, somebody's... What? Okay. I don't remember number 6 at all. Which, I get it. I forget a lot of names in this series, but... Nah, bro. Who is number 6? Who is this guy? Is this just some random Kamunabi nerd? What the fuck? How'd this man crack top 6? Was this a joke? Is this a prank? I know I'm not on Punk because I'm controlling the camera. One of Hakuri's brothers? That's who that is? Bruh. Put these niggas on fraud watch, bro. Put these niggas on fraud watch. It's insane. Like, if you're gonna grab somebody else from the Sazanami clan, it should be Papa Sazanami. Kyoto should be number 6 then. But this isn't even Tenri. Like, what are we doing here, bro? What y'all? I thought drugs were illegal in Japan and heavily stigmatized. Like, bro, I thought like weed gets you in more trouble than banging 50 bitches behind your wife's back in Japan. But clearly y'all niggas smoking something crazier. Cause what? How does obscure nigga number 74 that happens to be within the Sazanami clan outrank Papa? Like what? Because you can't even complexity diff this. Because like Kyora, right? Like you can go, oh yeah, like Kyora's in there because he's Sojo being number 12, but Father Brother number 2 being number 6 is crazy. How is this nigga above Asami? How is he above Hirohiko? Don't y'all like y'all traumatized kids over there, bro? And Smoke Axe being number 10? Like, I don't even remember that dude's name. I don't even know if they gave it to us. He was just smoked out by Hirohiko. This man was smoked for Uruha's character development. Is that why he's not? Is that why he's number 10? Because he got smoked for character development? They was like, yeah, bro, you made it. Uruha's character shine brighter. Top 10. Nigga. But then you got a home grill Iori at 14th. Oh, under this dude. Come on, man. Look, notice. Number 6 and number 10 aren't even in color. Because there's no color. Like, Azami has no color, which is weird to me. Because that nigga's been around since the beginning. Nah, bro. Japan, y'all got it, bro. Y'all got it, bro. We did something to them, bro. When we clearly messed up how they perceive the world, bro. This is America's fault. I'm blaming the U.S. government. I'm blaming this doesn't happen. Like this kind of crazy, nah, bro. We fried part of Japan's brains. Like the radiation is still going strong. I don't know what to tell you, man. This is crazy. Like, okay, Hiyuki was pulled from the story for a while, so I get it, right? Like, she's just not as relevant, so she's not as high up on people's rankings right now. That I can get it. I can get her not being top 10. I can understand. I don't necessarily have to agree, but I can understand. But Smoke Axe and nah, bro. Nah, bro. These people are evil. They do nefarious things. And the fact that Akamura, you know what? I'm gonna just tell myself this poll was conducted before Akamura started fucking shish kebabbing people. It's like we see Yura up here, so like what's up? Like Yura's number 13. Alright, bro. Alright, bro. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. They're gonna put his They're gonna put his limbs back on anyway. Akamura was 30. Man, hold on. Hold on. Because so far, this has just been you gotta go get some clothes, baby. Man, you telling me Akamura was 30? I know they don't fuck with villains, but there's gotta be a limit. Like I like also Hokuto. I thought he would have been higher too. Nah, this is insane. They truly said, "We are Japan. We're gonna give you a couple good takes, and then some of the most dog shit ones on the planet." And that happens with everything. I swear. Japan will be you'll like read it. You'll see a Japanese poll, and you'll be like, okay, 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 and then it'll be like the mustard application machine from the hot dog stand they went to in chapter 4 that fit into one panel. Every single time. Here, you need some help getting this on? Hey, Dad, I need help.
Help. Help.
Your little, gotta get your little hands through. Toddler arm. Zip it up. Can you say zip it up? Zip it up. Yes, please. Yeah, we're gonna have to get a. We're gonna have to see what the U.S. poll is. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna start reading the chapter because this is egregious. This is egregious. They are wilding over there. Hey, you. Can I get a high five? No. Boop, boop, boop. Come on the moon, he's gonna fun, Daddy. Come on the moon, he's gonna fun, Daddy. You want to get back down on the floor? Okay. Gonna go hang out with mommy? Oh, I love that little girl. I love that little girl so much. All right, we're 12 minutes in, and I haven't even looked at the actual page of the chapter yet. Let me stop traumatizing myself by trying to psionically understand the Japanese. Um. All right. So we. Hey, what up, Blob? Also, welcome, Brewski. Let's see. No, I was looking at the character poll for the first like 10 minutes. I'm not even gonna lie. All right, so is that? Oh yeah, that's the couch getting blown away. Duh. And then we see Shiba. Ah, he's getting the Humpty Dumpty treatment, putting himself back together again. Okay. So he's regenerating. Their Sumika seems to harness the Datsenseki's power to create an advantageous environment. Oh yeah, the poll. Don't make me get back on that, Blob. Don't make me get back on that. We'll get back on the poll after. All right, let's see. They're coming in to crush on them. Let's see. For themselves, it heals and nullifies the enemy's sorcery attacks. For the enemy, it dulls their senses. This is beyond problematic. I'll weigh him down with my own body. I'll take you with me to the bottom of the earth. And then he starts levitating. So heavy. As heavy as that Soga guy. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Is it time? Cue JJK music. Shiba's sorcery. Itazura, wicked trick, enables him to activate a momentary error for himself and whomever he touches, freely manipulating their positional information and physical properties, such as height, weight, and so on. I can't get used to handling his weight. It's beyond the threshold. Hmm. So it is particle manipulation to a certain degree. I can't get used to handling his weight. It's beyond the threshold. He's still moving. I'm like I've been to like a particle acceleration, particle manipulation truther since like the Daruma incident when he accelerated the speed and weight of his foot to like stomp that dude. So yeah, he basically has like particle, like it's basically like a particle spatial manipulation. It's like the ultimate sleight of hand. Let's see, and then we're pinning him with the scrap metal. restraining him with scraps of iron. Mashiro, you'll die. I've got Mr. Shiba. He'll teleport me back before I bleed to death. What up, Cameron Bailey? If nobody got me, Cameron Bailey got me. And I mean that. I've got Mr. Shiba. He'll teleport me back. That's right. Right here and now, we finish him. All right, they're moving in. Got him held in straight with the pressure zones. We got the battle hungry. All right, the Datsenseki. Up until now, the reconstruction of the environment that devastated Japan's strongest warriors was merely the side effect of the Simika wielded by the 6 Mokaboshi Guardians. Mikaboshi, I don't know why I want to say Moka. The real power is the power to annihilate the enemy, which occurs in tandem with a unique spirit energy reaction. And he summons a fucking spirit scorpion. So this kind of confirms that, and that explains why during the raid on the auction, when the Sazanami boy was using the Datsenseki, Shiba immediately went, ah, shit, this is a spirit, this is the manifestation of his spirit energy. And it showed up as a jellyfish, which is, I think it's interesting that he chose a jellyfish, or a jellyfish was chosen as his manifestation. My best guess is that artistically, it was a reference to the fact that there are many jellyfish that are extremely dangerous, like highly toxic and deadly, but jellyfish themselves don't really have proper brains. So they kind of, in a sense, just kind of float around and kill people. So it's kind of like showcasing the fact that that guy didn't actually have a will of his own, but was instead just a really powerfully deadly force drifting along the currents, and in this case, the will of his father. Whereas scorpions are creatures that have a lot more agency, at least in comparison to IQ and comparing them to like a jellyfish. So the spirit manifestation that we get from, which that does make me wonder if, for example, the because we see that the enchanted blades, their true realms reflect the user, so that does make me wonder if the animals that manifest are directly tied either to, like, not only tied to the creation process itself, but also a reflection of the person, which is part of, like I've said before, I wonder about that because your hero has like the 3 fish, etc. It would, Lucas. Yeah. So it's like you get these random spirit energy manifestations, which is actually very common. Like it's not like I don't know how many people have read Ito Ogure's work, or Ogrates, but he's a big fan of shadows. Oh yeah, he might not have known it was Datsenseki at first. He just saw he just knew that, hey yo, what the fuck? There's a spirit energy beast showing up. So that's fair. He might not have known it was Datsenseki. He just recognized the reaction right away. But Ograte was a really big believer in having shadows and things like that manifest behind characters to show what they were. Like Masataka Takayanagi in Tenjo Tenge had the panther for his background. If you remember Air Gear, there was the crow symbol for Itsuki Minami, but eventually that also kind of transformed. For a long time, Kazuma Mikura from Air Gear was represented as a jet when he was a speed type racer, and then eventually, as he accessed the flame road and moved up to the king, he was kind of like a Pegasus Knight with flames. So it'd be interesting to see if people's spirit manifestations shift throughout the story, if people have more of like fixed things. I mean, even in Yu Yu Hakusho, right? Yusuke had his little spirit beast show up, Pooh, who was a phoenix, but it took a while before the full rebirth occurred. So yeah, just it's a trope I'm fond of and familiar with, so I'm curious just how it'll be implemented throughout the rest of the story by Hokusano. All right, and then we're going to blow more holes, so both Soga clans are eliminated. Oh, so 1, 2, and then Mashiro. Oh, I desperately want Air Gear to get a new anime. Damn, Mashiro got a hole blown in him, and his dying action is to try to shoot a sword through Airu's neck. I didn't intend to use this power today, but you surprised me. And there he is. The throat slash. It's crazy just how see, look, I promise I should have clipped. I should have like gone back and clipped out of that VOD my whole explanation on Mashiro stocks and why you could invest now, but you needed to sell at the moment. And I'm pretty sure even last week I told y'all it might be time to sell those stocks because I did some late night trading, baby. But because I already knew that crash was coming. That crash was coming. Mm. The Ishirama talk end. Oof. It wasn't even a whole lot of talking going on right here. Ooh, 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 ooh. Turned those boys into splatter paintings. I figured the reason I got paired up with Shiba was to balance us out because I'm a runt. It's an honor to meet you, sir. Dude, no need to be so formal. My folks kicked me out when I was little. The Sorcery Bureau took me in, but they were all about training. I never experienced actual warmth. Everything a kid isn't supposed to do, you taught me. Seriously, dude, take responsibility. If they catch us, you better take the licks with me. Don't worry, dumbass, we'll blow the joint before they catch either of us with my sorcery. So where was I? The reason I'm Shiba's partner, it's obvious. Who else could it be? He slit my throat. Why? Why am I alive? Sumika grants me and my comrades the gift of healing. I've applied that gift to you as a special dispensation. Bro, Shiba literally was the bad influence friend. Got him smoking cigarettes, getting piercings. At this point, I'm just going to have to assume that Mashiro also has a tramp stamp. I don't know, man. I've applied that gift to you as a special dispensation, but just enough to avoid a lethal wound. Thanks to the excessive blood loss, you're barely conscious, and your strength is utterly exhausted. Don't try to move. Why? Ooh. Why? Why haven't you killed me too? Your sorcery is quite useful. We need a messenger to relay our demand. Where's your clothes? And tell of our military superiority. The Irishima talks. Nobuharu Ihumura, Tetsuro Harita, Akira Takaramiya, Hiroto Soga, Yoshinojo Soga, Shuji Mashiro. These 6 men were killed. Ogo Shiba, one man alone, returned to Japan. Ooh. Let's go through that one more time. The Irishima talks. Nobuharu Himura, Tetsuo Harita, Akira Takamiya, Hiroto Soga, Yoshinojo Soga, Shuji Mashiro. Those 6 men were killed. Togo Shiba, one man alone, returned to Japan. They straight up looked at this man and said, "Oh, bet he can teleport." Hey, I gotta give the narrator order every time. So the thing is that I love doing narrator voices. They're fun because like you basically get to because that's the best way to convey emotion, and like narrators can make or break stories. Like if you're gonna have a narrator voice, how you like who you have narrate, when you have them narrate, all that other good stuff. Like for example, the narrator switch during My Villain Academia was great. You had Spinner narrate it, and I always said that was like a meta commentary thing. And then we find out later that he wrote a book on their journey that was named like My Villain Academia. Perfect, perfect. So, Jeannie, are you sticking your finger in butter? Okay, you gonna put it on the pancakes? Here, have some whipped butter. Supposed to put it on the pancakes, okay? Nagashi is actually who I had in mind because I was thinking about Hunter x Hunter and the way that the narrator is implemented, especially during the Chimera Ant arc. What you fussing about? What are you fussing about? But yeah, you done being a fussy butt? There's no peanut butter there. That's regular butter. Oh, okay. Well, good. I'm glad you like regular butter too. You can put that on your biscuit as well. You're so funny, little girl. See, we all knew that hurling a big rock at the guy wasn't going to work, but it kind of worked. It kind of worked. I mean, you see, he took a lot of damage. Also, here's what I'll say: the next time a Kagurabachi poll is conducted, I better not see fucking Smoke Axe in the top 10 or the Sazanami brother that was allowed to live. Nope, that doesn't even make sense. Let my like I don't if Mashiro's in there, that's fine. That's totally fine. That'll make sense even. This is a good impression on a reader, a memorable impression. Even if his last blow was accidentally used against his homie. What you say, baby? Fuck this. See, okay, that is the one thing about the polls that always blows me is when I find out there was some kind of either dedicated campaign or just really determined person that was like, I'm making sure this person gets a bunch of results. Because every time that happens, I'm like, but why? Why was what made you wake up and choose this for your morning activity? What spoke to you that you said this is the way? You want the puppet bluey bingo? Okay, you got it, little girl. It's crazy because like we kind of knew when we saw the image of Sheba like sitting there all devastated that he was going to be the messenger. I mean, we knew based on his. Also, this is a crazy because when you think about it, right? Sheba is already considered a top tier at this point, but it kind of one of the things I like about this is that it emphasizes that the depths of how important like technical mastery is because Sheba's sorcery isn't strong completely by itself. It's a very um we'll say skill like a real finicky sorcery. And we see like in the same way that he was not given an enchanted blade because his sorcery is too useful. He was also not killed because his sorcery is very useful. Um and Sheba's a character that does feel heavily defined by his sorcery as far as how he interacts with the rest of the world. But at the same time, we're seeing that Sheba is almost always late. He like it was like what was it, a 10-second raid before Kunishige Rokuhire died? I can't imagine them fighting the main roster before they had enchanted blades. Not after this legendary spanking, bro. This is a Hall of Fame spanking. Also, like, wear your clothes. Hey, go get them. You gotta wear your clothes if you want to be on stream. But yeah, uh, to a certain degree, it feels like there's a wicked trick or a cruel irony to having a sorcery that makes you so fast, so powerful, da 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 da, and yet nothing ever seems to really go the way it's supposed to. It almost makes me feel like he avoids being. It's almost like he avoids being in the spotlight, even though he's like at the top, because he's terrified of things going wrong. Like he probably could. Like, do I think he probably could beat Yura? Especially like, for example, Sazanami Raid Yura. I definitely think he could have beat him. Do I think he would have been cosmically allowed to? No. um, not at all. And that's actually something that I think it's usually when you see a character like this, that it's like this character is one of the strongest people, but they never seem to like win. It feels very heavily plot oriented, but like you just said in the chat, for Sheba, it feels more like he's fucking cursed. Like it feels like he's not allowed to succeed. It feels like he's actually cursed in the story. Like the exchange for such a powerful sorcery is that it just will not be enough when it matters most. Because you got to think if the other Soga clan guy or he could basically use gravity, which Sheba is allowed to cheat. So it's like Shiba's sorcery basically lets him do what the greatest Soga clan sorcery allows them to do. But doesn't matter. He still gets folded. Like it's Shiba is man. I will say that yes, he is an angst punching bag. And that makes his slightly goofier demeanor all the more important. Because this is the most serious we've seen him be in the story. And so when we see adult Shiba get really, really serious, it's gonna be probably possibly the chapters he dies or the fight he dies. Because like it's insane. It's like he's constantly considered the pinnacle of sorcery, but he never is the guy for the main job. Never. Like I mean, yeah, this is basically his eclipse moment. You got to watch your homies get slimed out. That's the crazy thing too. Is that currently the greatest aura farmer in this whole story, it's not Shiba, it's not Aryu, it's not any members of the Soga clan. It's this fucking couch. Because what do you mean? He got to put the couch right back where it was. Didn't have any broken legs. Didn't no ripped cushions. This couch might be top one in the verse. This couch might actually be top one in the verse. Yeah. I didn't even notice that, did you? Couch Chan is number one. Fussy butt, what's wrong? Hold on, I gotta go help my daughter open the door. Okay. Hey, get up. Can't have a naked baby on screen. All right, put your pants on. Good. Yeah, I think that's because ultimately he kind of is Shiba's hero. Because regardless of whether he wants to be called a hero. Okay, I'm glad you're okay, baby. Oh yeah, one, I do think the Soga clan are related to the Mikaboshi. I think that was actually a personal familial beef that history has softened. Two, I don't know if I've seen you in here a lot before, Brewski. But okay, based on what I'm seeing, you were in the 119 live reaction when I was talking about selling ATT. um, and what I'll say is that I'm convinced that Hatshaku is a Mikaboshi. Oh, Mashiro and Shiba are 100% Fujo bait. Like, do I think Hokozano is actually going to make any of these people queer? No. I actually don't think that at all. But I do think he's like, I'll give them something that they can kind of work with. like, like I don't think they're ever gonna be like, yeah, these people were dating, but I do think he's gonna be like, eh, I'll write this closeness. I know how people eat this shit up. This 500 figure soul, baby, ha ha. But yeah, like I'm convinced that Hatshaku is a Mikaboshi. I'm convinced he's the final villain. I'm like all of this is just extra because right, even with the enchanted blade stuff, he as a Mikaboshi would have more reason to make sure those get stolen and leveraged against Japan than like any other character. Like Yura is like, oh, the malediction was good. We needed to kill more criminals. Nah. But like, if Yura's upset about like innocent people dying, why is he gonna like he's not on the right path to like actually fix everything, right? So Yura feels like a character that's being puppeteered. Uh, it's just yeah, it just doesn't work. Like logically, like there's some not like it doesn't work narratively, but like there's just a lot of stuff that feels manipulated. So I'm look, he's got the spider webbing that Aryu has. We have constantly. So check this out. Let me just real quick shrink this down a little bit. I can show you a little bit for a little bit. Once again, the same kind of pine tree, bonsai tree right here. Consistently, those trees are sitting in the background during this talk. It just, to me, it just seems like we're very subtly pointing towards Hatshaku having like been influenced because we know that Yura is supposed to be influenced by the malediction. So it would make sense that somebody would also know about the Irishima talks, right? Or what's going on during this time period. Let's factor in also that it makes no sense for only like the Japanese people who were influenced by this. Like somebody else was there. Maybe for all we know, Hatshaku was a sorcerer apprentice chilling on the breast massage machine. Like we don't know that, but I mean, you could tell me he was a sorcerer chilling. You could tell me he's an ancient Mikaboshi that was living in this tree, and I would believe you. Because also, not only is Couch Chan surviving, how is Tree Chan still alive? Someone explain to me why Tree Kun is still alive. No damage. I don't even think that boy lost a branch. Like, did that boy lose a branch? I don't think so. Hold on, let me see something. Let's go back a couple chapters just to see if we can. Let's see. Yeah, Tree and Couch Chan both completely unscathed. Like, what are we doing here, Tree? Like, they need to figure out what this tree got going on. No branches lost. Doesn't even look like they lost the needle. Crazy work. Just like I don't know, man. Just kind of seems a little sus. But yeah, we know about Shaku is that he's the source of the tree sorceries. That's all we know about him. So I will be paranoid conspiracy theorist rambling about Hatshaku until we get confirmation that he's not what I think he is. Check Bachi chat. All right, bet. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. We're pulling up the whole results of the popularity poll. right. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, so Smoke Axe is Fushimi. That's right. Thank you, thank you. Yura, yep. Natsuki being in 14th, I'm like, I guess, but okay, you know what? Uh, okay, yeah, Tenri being lower than fucking what's his name? NG is crazy. Soya, bro. All right, you know what? There's no see you. I didn't even think about the fact that Kunishige was so low. That's crazy. You know what? Char disappeared from the story. I get it. Yeah, Ikuto Hagiwara. Okay, yeah, yeah. I guess it blows my mind that Kyora has 86 votes and like what was that? All of his kids are higher up than him? That's insane. Actually criminal. Hold on. I can actually show this stuff. Hold on. Let me just go ahead and shrink you down a little bit. This I don't have to worry about getting copyright struck for, I believe. Um, bro, the Roku Hero Clan. How did the fish beat Hinao? I know she hasn't been around in a while, but that is crazy. The fish beating Hokuto is wild. Yeah, bro. Kyura in 28th place? Kyura? Kyura's one of the best characters in the show or the series, whatever you want to call it. I mean, oh, snap. Hold on. Because, you know, yeah. Like, okay, so there's a part of me that feels like Hokuto being so low, like that's like kind of funny to me. Like he's such a challenging sort, but it's actually insane. Like these two being down here is wild to me. Him being so low, I'm like, okay, I get it if you just don't care that much about like Samura's Guard or the Masumi, but it's just wild. And like this woman who, like, I feel like she had less screen time than all of these characters. So how did, bro? I'm actually a little surprised she wasn't higher, but she only showed up for like the raid on the Kamunabi headquarters, so I get it. It's weird because like every time I see somebody's placement that's like lower than I expected, I feel like her driving the motorcycle with a like the motorcycle with the katana dispensing apparatus. I automatically feel like she could be, you know, higher. But again, there's a lot of good characters, so I'm okay with some of those. Like, uh you need that butter open too? Oh my goodness. You haven't even finished using that butter. Like, maybe they do just hate facial hair, because what is this? Bro, how many votes did this woman buy? How many? Like, this is the most rigged election I've ever seen. This right here. And I live in the US, man. So, like, the top five isn't egregious. Like, there's a curveball, like Yuraha being like number two. Kind of surprised about that, but I'm not offended by it, right? Like these three characters, I all assumed would be higher than Yuraha, but it doesn't bother me if people just rock with the dude a lot, right? He's got some pretty cool moments. He's loyal, uh, and I'm actually kind of interested in seeing what he does going forward. Hirohiko, I understand. At the end of the day, he's a villain. Probably got like at least a decent bit of fangirl vote. Okay, cool. I guess if I wanted to like defend Azami being. It's like Azami being top 10 is still good. So if I want to defend my boy Azami, I'll say the fact that he went against his parents and turned to medical sorcery into combat was maybe one of the things. Yeah, that's because a lot of shipping is just self-insert fic at the end of the day. So just throw them around with whoever you think is cute, whichever character they think, because it's like, okay, it goes, they think Yuraha is cute, but they also think he's feminine more than likely because of his eye makeup. So then it's like, you put Yuraha with whoever you also would like to bang, and then it's like two dudes that you think are attractive banging, and one of them that you self-projected onto. Boom, done. And I mean, and that's what most of shipping culture is. So it's fine. Well, I do think that's a little unhealthy, but that's what most of shipping culture is. This guy doesn't even have two names. Like Hirohiko at least doesn't have two names because he's a child. This guy doesn't have two names because he's not fucking important. Oh, I definitely think Iori should have been top 10. I just understand that, you know, she's one of the younger students or one of the younger characters who hasn't had as much like rawness, and I'd have to take, because I want to take into consideration what recency bias may have been at play when this poll was conducted. So let's say this poll ran in the middle of the fight with Soga. Well, you got a bunch of cool shit happening, but at the same time, you have Hokuto all the way down here. So it's like I can't even actually make that make sense. Like if I try to use recency bias, it's like, oh, well then Akamura Soga should be up here. And some of these other people maybe should be a little higher. But then it's like, well, no, because this guy was like Fushimi was last seen a year ago. Like actually like a year and a half ago. So that doesn't actually work. And it's like, well, and then Enji hasn't been seen in even longer. And like Soya, I mean, at least we got that extra chapter of Soya recently. So, I'll give him that. But come on, man. So I can't even rely on recency bias because Sojo hit 12th. And Sojo is a chapter 30 character. Like, I don't even think Sojo might not even made it to chapter 30. Let me double check that. I don't even think he made it to chapter 30. I think Sojo made it to chapter like 25 and died there. Let me double check. Like, Sojo is shit. Did Sojo even make it to the chapter 20? Hold on. Yeah, Sojo didn't even make it to chapter 20, dog. Like, that nigga died in chapter 18. That nigga died in chapter 18. Oh my god. Oh shit, that might alright, that might get me copyright struck. We'll see. Hopefully that was just a small amount of time. Yep. See, there we go. So Sojo got some bonus chapters, but holy shit. Yeah, they do love their bathhouse chap. Man. Oh, yep. Let's see. We don't have a vote count, but Daruma is 34th. That's kind of okay. This kid right here, Ikura, I would support Ikura being higher in this list than Fushimi, and I'm not even joking. Pine Tree Sorcerer is crazy. Please just call him Hatshaku. Please just call him Hatshaku. You would think that Euron would be higher just off being a girl in a series that barely has any in a shonen magazine. If I'm being honest. Hey, this dude was. I felt bad for this man because he got cooked and you knew that Hirohiko was about to walk through that hotel. He lost one arm and it was like, oh, well, GG for everybody here. All of you are dead. Yeah, that's a little better. It is a little better. You know what? I do support these three being dead last. Or really low at least. Because kind of fuck all these guys right here. Especially this one. Like fuck this guy. Like Kassen is such a piece of shit. Uh Makoto Kasahara. I mean, like, I'm actually surprised Toto is so low too. Let's see. Dog. Dude, they're just so. They deserve to be down there. I'm glad nobody liked these bums. Because they, what's crazy is that I could easily see these bums getting a fan cam edit once the anime drops. Like, I could see it just because of their style. The guy that eats people. Oh wait, hold on. The Hiyuki panel. Actually, I should be reading all of these panels just in case. Let's see. Can I hold that enchanted blade again as a keepsake? That's for coming in second place. I don't mind. All right, let me keep going. Let me keep going. What does it say for Hiyuki? Both men and women are enamored with that intense, irresistible charm. The strongest common not be female. You know what? Yeah, see, if these bums weren't in here, Hiyuki would have been top 10. Honorary top 10. She deserved that shit, bro. She deserved that shit. She deserved it. He's in a bad mood because he's so far behind Hakuri in the. That's great. It blows my mind. Take the throne, yeah. Next time, yeah. The top spot, right? I want to. In addition to those who see, it's just so. Some of these characters, man, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But that's okay. Kazane Machi, Mr. Inazuma making top 50. I'm actually surprised he didn't score a little higher because I feel like usually these characters are respected a bit more. But this guy's got a really cool ability. Hirohiko, bruh, I like that this dude. Okay, nah, fuck that. How does Smoke Axe get a name but not Hirohiko's companion? Isn't this nigga a sorcerer in the Hishaku? Why don't we have a name for him? Okay, yeah, this was definitely conducted before some of the names were released because just naming him Sword. I guess that's nice to not spoil people, but like, if you're, why are you looking at this poll if you don't read the series? That's weird. Yuki Sada. Actually, Yuki Sada being higher than the Swordmaster is crazy. All right, Genus. Yeah, I'll take that to the bank. I mean, I get it. It's a busy ass manga. He's busy. Mangaka schedules are crazy. But some of these people, like, Like, nah, this should have been like Smoke Axe Guy. That should have been what he called him. He should not have honored him with a name because should have driven home how absurd it is that he got a name. Same with this guy. Fuck this bum. I mean, he gets a name because he's in a family, but fuck that bum. Like the Hatshaku guy not having a name, I feel like his name is being saved because again, I think he's a Mikaboshi. So I think we're gonna get towards the end game. He's gonna be like blah blah blah. It's gonna be like do 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 Mikaboshi, and like he's gonna drop his name like a ton of fucking bricks on somebody's noodle. Like, so it's fine. But these other cats, nah, bro. Smoke Axe is what I call Fushimi because like that's because I was rereading his fight and I'm pretty sure he used an ability called like Smoke Axe, so that's the only frame of reference to like identify him I had before I found out his name was Fushimi through this popularity poll. Like I think he called Smoke Axe or something like that. I don't remember what it was. I was rereading part of the raid yesterday or the day before. Because I finally stopped doing door-to-door sales and I start a new job Monday. Let's go! Ah, ah, ah! Ah, ah, ah! Ah, ah, ah! Ah, ah, ah! I scared you. Oh, no! Ooh.
Sorry. Again.
Yeah. Again. You're so funny, little girl. But yeah. And the other part of that is that it'll be like 40 hours, so I'll actually have time to at least do shorts again and stuff like that. You got to get some clothes. I told you, you got to get clothes to be on stream. You can't just be on stream in your potty training gear. You got to have clothes on. Go get your jacket. But yeah, you guys should at least see random shorts from me about random shit throughout the week. If nothing else. Hey, what's wrong? Here. How about you put on one of Daddy's jackets? Want to wear one of Daddy's jackets? You want a Daddy jacket? Here. You can wear a Bakugo jacket. You can wear Daddy's Bakugo jacket. Little toddler arms in here. Toddler this hole. Boop, 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 boop. I'm the precious daughter. Hey, you are the precious daughter. That's right. You know what? I'm kind of a fan of hospital chapters though because it adds an extra. Don't turn that off. It adds an extra layer of immersion to consistently be like, no, they have to go to the hospital. They're fucked up.
No,
they got
not hospital.
Yes, hospital. You were born in a hospital. You should like them.
Nah.
Yeah, you were born in a hospital. You cried a lot though.
Hospital. Hospital.
See, I bounce back and forth on this, but I do think that to me it seems like Hokusano was genuinely using the Seitei War arc to just give us a fuck ton of lore. And if we're actually just gonna get a bunch of lore on the Seitei War and like what's going on and how certain people operate, then I think we actually do have at least another. Let's see. Let me see when we started this, just for a chapter count perspective. Because let's see. I feel like. Oh yeah, let's see. Chapter 111 happened. So we got 112, which was like the start of the Seitei War arc, or the end of part 1, I guess. And then we go to chapter 113. And today we just got the 8th chapter, basically, or the ninth chapter. We got a volume worth of content here. I don't like calling it content. That makes it sound like grody. We got one volume so far. And I think that for all intents and purposes, dealing with the fallout of this, like the conversations people are going to have, the strategizing that's going to be at least a chapter or two, even with this being a faster paced series. On top of that, I think we factor in. I could see it only being like 30 chapters, only because I could see. I always try to factor in like how Jump is going to feel about spending so much time away from the main character. But if you argue that like Sheba is the main character of this section of the story, it still works. Or if you see Sheba as a deuteragonist, I think it still functions. It's fine. I would like us to get like a full extrapolation and like just go like ham on the breakdown. But we gotta always factor in like what is editorial going to do. And so we got the start of the war in this volume. I did not realize I did a full 20-minute rant. That's insane. My bad. My bad. Because I think I started mixing in like character analysis too. So there was like actual breakdowns on. I know I did like a whole rant on Hakuri and like the changing of his storehouse and what that symbolized, like as a clean slate for him as a person and like his family and blah blah blah. So I know I did like a lot of character. Like I did like I think 2 or 3 character analysis rants in there while just trying to talk about what makes this series great. So yes, my bad. So if I look at it that way though, we're gonna go like 10. Let's see. So then we have to get into the war. Japan kind of has to get its ass kicked for a while in that war because we need the enchanted blades to be fully justified. So we're gonna spend probably like so then we're gonna spend at least a little bit of time on like how bad the war conditions got, and then we have to introduce the enchanted blades, have a bit of fighting with that. We definitely have to get a couple major characters introduced because there's going to be big conflicts, further explanation of what the Mikaboshi are like, their culture. I genuinely think we have to introduce somebody who betrays the Mikaboshi. Add into that, like after that, yes, the other sword bearers and the romance. So it's like the romance is probably going to be built up throughout the next 2 volumes. We have to get to Chihiro's mom dying and what set that in motion. And then we have to get to like the conclusion. So honestly, yeah, we probably have at least like as long as editorial doesn't get antsy or there's not like a sales drop that hurts the story or like hurts the product in the eyes of the company. Yeah, we probably have at least another 3 volumes worth of material at least. Especially because we're also going to have multiple fights. So we have multiple storylines that actually have to we have to sit down and have people talk and have real conversations with. But then we also have battles that have to happen, right? And like we just spent how many chapters? I want to say like 3 chapters. Man, Aryu's corpse becoming the Shinichi. If that's that one, I'm not as sure about now because it's hard to imagine them successfully killing him. But at the same time, he got hit with a giant rock, and we see. Okay, so in that chapter, in the newest chapter, we see him regrowing bone and other like viscera, right? So if he's regrowing whole chunks of flesh, that means he has genetic material likely blasted off of him or from him on the battlefield. So even if he heals, if you can do enough damage to get scraps of his body, then you still can have organic matter that you add to the swords. So even if it's not his corpse yet, you get to work with the biological material of his clan. in a way that could actually backfire on them is like the fact that they can get their fingers cut off, get their arms cut off, get their stuff cut off. Like you could actually send missions out there with the intending for the people to die, but their actual purpose is to get genetic material for people who can use Datanseki so that you can properly forge their bodies into weapons. So you can send people with the sole purpose of having them die to get you more genetic material. Yeah, that is actually that's $150. Because you put 350s in there. Say tree fitty. So yeah, as long as editorial doesn't get involved or get antsy, we're looking at 40 to 50 is probably not that unrealistic. At minimum, we can get through. Here, yeah, this is the $10 bill. You got Hamilton on it. Pretty sure he was kind of a piece of crap, but that's whatever. So yeah, this should be the main focus of the story for the rest of the year. Which I'm okay with. Because we got the Bocce trailer, right? So, and we've talked about this before on here. Depending on whether it's a 26 episode or a 13 episode season, it's going to heavily influence how many chapters we get. Money, money, money. Can you say that? Money, money, money. Let me see something real quick. So let's see. I'm trying to remember if Hamilton is the one that did. That might be Jackson I'm thinking of with the Trail of Tears. But I go back and forth on that one because I do think his intent mattered when he was shaping the blades. And I think that certain stuff, because like the Kumiyuri, right? Like that one, I don't know. Like it's weird but I feel like he had to have had intent. Whereas with the Shunichi, right? I feel like that one, he strictly had murder on his mind, right? Like that's basically the first one, and that one he was just angry, right? I think that one is like the blade of hate. Like that's just murder on his mind. That's all that he was thinking about. And so it just was like, what's the best way to kill? Like, because when I say murder is on his mind, it's like, to me, it feels like that one was made to take life, and that's why it absorbs vitality from the things surrounding the user. It's literally taking life. Like, that's what it was built to do. Whereas the other ones, it feels like he was actually thinking about how they would fight. Pick it up. Oh, you want me to pick up that dollar bill? Here you go. Oh. Here. So, like, now in regards to the, okay. It's based off the trailer we got. It's gonna have some crazy Sakuga moments. I'm not even. That's not even an if to me. So I initially thought if we get 26 episodes, we could probably easily hit chapter like 60-ish, I want to say, and finish with them in the elevator. But, well, let's see. If we do 60 chapters and 26 episodes, that could be a little fast, but it would lead to chapter or season 2 needing to be about 50 chapters because we don't want the Seitei War to like start halfway through. So we need to maybe finish chapter 2 on exactly chapter 112. That's still about 52 chapters, so that's okay. And then season 3 is going to open up with the flashback arc of all flashback arcs. And so, if that's going to be 50 chapters, season 3 of Kagurabachi would be like no Chihiro whatsoever. Well, the thing is that a 60 chapter season is like comparable to or let's say like a 50 chapter season is comparable to season 2 of Meche. Season 2 of Meche covers about 50 chapters, and it's one of people's favorite seasons of that show. Uh, I do not want a movie because if we get a movie, it will undoubtedly, like especially if this is a longer arc, it will cut a lot of material, like a lot of material. But we don't want that necessarily. Uh, yeah. Yeah, see that, and that's a lot. Like, so the thing with Thousand Year Blood War is that secretly, a lot of the people who really love it never read it, and that helps them like it more, or they haven't read it recently. I love Bleach. I love the Thousand Year Blood War. I am full. I notice, damn, we cut a lot of shit when I'm like watching it, and I'm like, it's kind of its own thing, and that's okay. There's some stuff that I like. There's some stuff that I wish was done better, but there's some things that it expanded on in exchange of cutting other things, and that's basically how it is. But Thousand Year Blood War was heavily action oriented too, so you can kind of squeeze 4 chapters into something if the 4 chapters you were squeezing in are fights. Like when you're doing fights, it's a little easier to squeeze, like condense stuff now. But we got multiple anime original fights. Like people were fucking roasting Renji for losing to Uryu, but that fight wasn't even in the manga. But also, Uryu was supposed to be that boy, and it was clear that the narrative was telling us he was that boy, but we didn't get a lot of time actually exploring what made him that boy during the Thousand Year Blood War in the manga. So I was like, fuck it. I'll take more Uryu content. And the Squad Zero stuff, they did a good job of adding to Squad Zero because Squad Zero got, in my opinion, like their time wasn't enough. Yeah, but I'd say go up to chapter 60. And here's the thing, right? With Kagurabachi, if they adapt, if they adapt lower chapter counts or higher chapter counts, as it's gonna always come down to director pacing. Always gonna come down to director pacing. So even if we go chapter 2 is 52 chapters, or season 2 is 52 chapters, and then we go into the Seitei War arc, which is going to be like heavy lore drop, da 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 da. If the first in like the first season we adapt 60 chapters, even if we go, excuse me, even if we make the first season, we spend do like let's say we don't do, let's say the first season we don't get up to them being at the hotel and all the stuff on the train. Let's say the first season we actually only complete the Raikazuchi arc and maybe finish with Chihiro's trial. So here, let me see where that finishes. Let's see. So yeah, let's say we end season 1 and people are gonna be like, whoa, that's crazy. But let's say we end season 1 with like chapter 46. Let's say that's where we end season 1, right? I know. Not nearly as raw. But let's say we end with like chapter 46, chapter 45. You can do that because what will happen is that means you'd be starting season 2 with like the introduction of Yuraha and like them fighting on the train sequence, like all that good shit. Like you'd be opening the season with that. Like the train stuff, meeting let me see. Yeah. Also here, just to, this is why I was calling him Smoke Axe. That was like the only thing I had to know him by. So you could, but like if you, so you're opening up with these guys, all the stuff with Yuraha. Uh, So it's like you could like let's say you do it this way though, and you decide to like save it for, and that way we're starting season two with like the introduction of Yuraha. We're running through here doing all this other stuff, and you want to do like a lower chapter count. That still works because Kagurabachi has enough fights naturally built into the story that you can just make those fights longer. So if you want to, let's say you, so that way, if you stagger it that way, you could have season three be when Chihiro and Samura show up to the raid. Oh yeah, I think it's ending with the elevator scene. I just when I think about structuring the story, I also want to make sure that if we have season three have like a heavy lore focus, even though I think Shiba will be a very liked character, and I think the fact that he off screens people, and then we get an arc that centers around like him as a younger person is going to be enough to keep people engaged. We always know that there's always a chance that people push back on like a lore focused arc. So you always have to be cognizant of that. And corporate offices are always going to care about that because for them, like for us, this is art that we love and enjoy. For them, this is a product they make money on, and so we gotta like, it's like you're always got to think about all these vectors of like where they intersect. It's like I know that the students are really important. So like when people were talking about season five of My Hero Academia, and I was big into that section of the fandom, I was probably the only person on Twitter, and I think I was the only person, the only My Hero content creator who was like, we are not getting a My Villain Academia OP. I was like, we are not getting My Villain Academia as its own core. I was like, the joint training arc is going to be at least 11 episodes long, and this was not a popular thing. Like a lot of My Hero Academia content creators were not saying the things that I'm saying to you right now. Like that's what I was saying though, and that ended up being correct. My Villain Academia did not get its own OP. It did not get its own core. Joint training ended up being an entire core. It was not 5 to 6 episodes like people were saying it was going to be. But because the popular narratives were those takes and not what I was saying, it just made a further like vitriolic response, and that's before factoring in that COVID influenced the production schedule. That's before factoring in that the production committee decided to move the timing of certain events around and the story structure of the series. That's without even factoring in that stuff. All of that, like just the fact that there was an entire narrative built up within the fandom and expectations just fucked that season so hard. And so whenever I discuss these like anime production pipelines, how things are going to go, or what the timelines could look like, what we could end up, having where season ends, where season beginnings, what they're going to like, how they're going to want to structure lore. I'm trying to make like I always try to think of like what's the thing that the fandom wouldn't like, but could still be good, and a production committee would feel comfortable with. And I don't know that they'd be comfortable, especially if this runs for like 40 to 50 chapters, with basically an entire season having no Chihiro. That I don't know about. I don't know how they'd feel about that. Uh, I don't. I think people need to be more comfortable taking space and time away from main characters. I think yes, main characters are important, but it's okay when it builds up so much of the story. One of my favorite book series of all time, the Inheritance books. Love these bad boys. Uh, this book spends a lot of time dealing with the main character's cousin and they're like basically all right. This book, the man finds a dragon egg. This book, or like after this book, he's a wanted criminal in the empire basically because he got a dragon and he wasn't supposed to. That's just the simplest way to put it. The dude and the guy who runs the country has his own dragon that he basically fucking cooked the brain of. He wants to capture him. So to capture him, in this book, he's going back to take care of Brewski. By this book, he wants to go in there, capture him, and he's going to go after the dude's family. So this book actually focuses on his cousin leading his entire village across the continent or across the country so they could join the military, the resistance military. So we spend hundreds of pages on his cousin's perspective, and I love that shit. So, and we actually keep getting cousin perspective chapters throughout the rest of the series. I think people got to be more okay with that. And that's a novel. I don't even have pretty pictures throughout this shit to indulge. Exactly, and that's what you notice with One Piece, right? What's up, Ryan? Fun fact. So, RMK Buried Alive, who I'll be working with starting Monday, has me saved in his phone as Jalen Vanquisher of Snails, which is the name. Like the name is derived from that book series. I didn't even know he was in the chat until he just popped in and said that though. Uh, and I've been in his phone as that for over 10 years. But like yes, Chihiro won the popularity poll, and that's part of what concerns me about this arc getting the space and the time that it needs to breathe. Because I don't want Chihiro's popularity to Shueisha or to the editor to signal, oh, we need to wrap this up, or we need to randomly. And I'm fine with cutaways to the present, but if you think about One Piece, which is one of the few series where the main character does win a lot, I think the longest time we spent away from Luffy was like 8 chapters during God Valley. We don't take a lot of breaks from Luffy in One Piece. Uh, Even when we set up things narratively, like for example, Dressrosa, I will always say Dressrosa should have told anybody. This is part of why I was like Zoro kills Kaido was a bad theory, was because Dressrosa gave you every component for Law to kill Doflamingo, and Luffy still had to be the one to beat him because it's still Luffy's story, and he's the one who becomes king of the pirates. And so you can never account on anybody doing or succeeding in a conflict that Luffy could win or should win or whatever, even if it narratively made sense for them to do so. So that's kind of how I look at it, right? Like, you have to understand what these companies think people value. And if people think, oh shit, this series won't survive without the main character, they're going to run from keeping away. And that's the scary thing about this poll, too, is that, like, the upside to this poll is that Yuraha and Samura and Shiba are top 5. We have 3 characters who are going to be prominently featured in this flashback in the top 5. So that's a good thing for us. But the top 3 is 2 people who will not be appearing, except Chihiro as a baby. And that's where it's like, ooh, I really hope that doesn't sway the ball. Because like getting backstory on Shiba, seeing Yuraha interact with people. Oh yeah, Oda's flashback was a decent length too. How? Let's see. I'm curious. Uh, okay, so we did get actually like a 16 chapter in the manga. Yeah, okay, so it was 960 to 970. So we have hope. We have hope. But that means we could get up to 2 volumes. We need more than 2 volumes. Which I mean, the second thing you see is anyone else tired of how long the Oda flashback is, and people complaining about Odin's flashback. But we do have to worry about that. I mean, 2 volumes in One Piece time is like 6 months though, so we'll see. I feel like 6 months is about the cap we usually see on how far we get to go away from our main characters in a weekly magazine. But I think it'll be worth it. Uh, Honestly, you could easily intersperse some of the like Chihiro blacksmithing journey around the time that we start to explore what Kunishige's doing. Oh yeah, that's the thing about this. This is like a very large, very important component to the story. So I don't think we should just be running away from this. Uh, so yeah, I just think that we should be able to. You are so adorable, little genie. Uh, uh. Oh yeah, this is like the most important thing. Trust me. You mean like will we eventually get dragons flashback? I would hope so. Aragon, yes. I gotta. Jeannie, what are you doing? Hi, silly baby. I like all of them. Like, okay, think of it this way. I reread all four books like back in January, Decemberish, and I also have this book, which was the fifth book. Well, we'll say like fifth book ish, which followed Murtag that came out in like 2020 or something like that. Like, I got this book, and that's what made me go, oh yeah, let me rebuy the other four. I used to technically have one of those like autograph copies. Yeah, this one came out like 2023, so I made sure to get this too. So yeah, I thought it was worth going back to and reading. And I'm excited because we have the series being worked on with Disney. That's actually why I think I mentioned before. I've been getting my daughter to watch like Raya the Last Dragon, Dragon Keeper, and other dragon related shows because when that eventually comes back, I want her to watch it with me and then read the books. And that's going to be how I get her to not have a total TikTok attention span because she's going to be able to read actual novels that have hundreds of pages and made up languages in them. Isn't that right, Genie Bobini? Say throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the Bobinied one. Ah, ah, ah. I don't have the Fork, the Witch, and the Worm. We're gonna have to get that one too. I know there's also another sci-fi book that he did that has Angela in it, so I'm probably gonna get that one too, just because she dimension hops or some shit. She actually did watch some of the How to Drain Your Dragon TV show. Uh, hey, if you think Arya was moving crazy at the end of book one, wait till you see a healthy Arya move, bro. That was nerfed Arya. You were what reading? You were just reading nerfed Arya trying to make some shit happen. Did somebody actually text me? That's weird. Hey, that sounds like a really nice bonding exercise. Read to your girl. Who's that baby? No, Daddy. You always so silly. Who's that baby? Who's that baby? No, you just want to be upside down right now? Okay. But yeah, all that sideways stuff to say, I still think that we'll be in a good spot. I just think that um, if we see this war arc getting broken up into chunks, it'll strictly be some weird, like some weird editorial involvements, in my opinion. Hey, that baby. Who's that baby? Who's that baby? Let's see. Yes, you're the baby. I mean, getting read to is kind of well. You know what? I wasn't read to as a child, so I think actually no. I think my older brother read to me a little bit, but I definitely wasn't getting read to by my mom. Um, Yeah. But I mean, having dyslexia and having a mom that actually showed up for you sounds. The part where she actually showed up for you sounds sick. Who's that, baby? Who's that, baby? Look here, kid. I got you by the scruff of your neck. What are you gonna do? Just fall right back. Oh no, the Kamunabi and the Hishaku ain't so different. That's always the thing about anytime you have organizations that either clamor for or maintain power, they're gonna do a lot of the same shit. It's about motive and like basically the extremity to the execution of their actions. Because ultimately, there's like a set. I don't want to say there's a set number of sequences or paths, but it's kind of like chess where there's certain setups that you have to deal with, and those only have a couple right responses before, or a couple responses that you can really utilize without it just kind of blowing up in your face. Well, I think Shiba ended up working for them because even though he's seen as the pinnacle of sorcery by many, I think this failure specifically made it where there's no way in hell he's going to be confident. Like, I don't think Shiba is actually confident in himself. And that's why, even though to a certain degree, Shiba's one of those guys that's really strong, but we all, most of the time when we see him fighting people, he's not fighting like true top tiers. It's like Shiba's a draft play warrior. Like he's not, or like a norms warrior. Shiba plays quick play lobbies these days. He doesn't play a lot of ranked. He doesn't play a lot of ranked. Shiba doesn't like to play ranked anymore. That's how I look at it. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, you need to be upside down again. But yeah. Oh, almost assuredly. I think because they mention sorcery is not that common, and from what I understand, Shiba isn't from like a clan that already had a sorcery. He probably was doing all kinds of weird shit and rejected by his family. Like I personally think that a lot of people, I think a lot of the sorcerers who weren't from prestigious clans or prestigious families, people who just kind of like learned how to do the shit, are people who like their families didn't support them. Even Daruma, like not everybody whose family had like even a kind of sorcery seemed to always like lean into it. So I think societal rejection was pretty common for sorcerers pre Kamunabi takeover. And in turn, I think that greatly shaped how their families reacted to them and what opportunities were actually available for them. So yeah, I think a life of a lot of small failures building up for Sheba makes him have imposter syndrome. And I think the day that we find out, like, what are you doing, little baby? Because I don't even think Sheba knows yet that Costin is the one who sold them out. Like he didn't know that when he was saving people at the Kaminabi. He may have been told as he was saving people, but like I don't think he knew when he showed up at that time. So that will probably be the first time he doesn't take that as his personal failure. And I'm sure we'll see Kasen again because there's no reason for Akamura to kill him when he's purposely orchestrated the plan to get Akamura out, outside of the fact that he wasn't actually loyal to the Kaminabi, so Akamura could kill him for lack of honor. Uh, so it's like, what you doing? You're so silly. Yeah, so I think somebody told him don't save Kasen, and then like he got the breakdown. But I think that's a fight that's coming. Like obviously, Azami just kind of rolled him, legitimately one shot that boy. But I think Sheba versus Kasen is something that I would love to see because I kind of want to see him put belt to ass. I think that knowing that Kunishige died because of Kasen is going to be motive enough for him to put belt to ass, and that's going to be like when we see Sheba like get real serious on somebody and not off screen them without losing. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but yeah, we're sitting at an hour 40, so I'm gonna hop off here. Overall, though, if we ignore the weirdness of the character popularity poll after number 5, specifically after number 5, great chapter, helped highlight the gap between what the Mikaboshi had access to versus what Japan's dealing with. Uh, just how powerful the Datsenseki were. I am wagering that we're going to see some of the drawbacks to full body regeneration, not just like on his side, but how it impacts their people because of the way that they have the ceremonies and all that other stuff. I don't think anything is just 100% free. That just seems unlikely. Hey, what up, Bonzu? Uh, Getting the name of Shiba sorcery and then finally basically being like, yeah, it's a particle manipulation of a kind. And we lost 2 members of the Soga clan, likely 2 of their strongest fighters. Uh, we're hopefully going to get more context on these sorcery beast. Yeah, Yukisada does have a similar regeneration, but I've been wondering if Yukisada is Mikaboshi, if he's secretly from the Yanagi clan, or because like he could be somebody. Well, I don't know, because like if he's from the Yanagi clan, could his body be a viable target for the manipulation necessary to become a barrier space user or whatever? I don't know. Also, I guess I hope that the barrier guy that Hakuri tried to save is still alive. Um, it's crazy that Hakuri, like, I saw somebody mad that Hakuri hasn't been able to fight her. It was like a really dog shit take. But Hakuri has been nerfed for like 70 to 80 chapters. Actually, basically, the character has never not been nerfed. The entire story. Well, like, when we first introduced him, he can't use like his sorcery or anything else like that because his body is like preparing to be able to deal with the burden of having two. And then since then on, he's been dealing with brain damage and having to like be very careful and technically was nerfed when he was dealing with that brain damage during the raid. So I'd be very interested to see if what we can do with him, because if you think about it, all Hakuri would have had to do is like touch people or like send his spirit energy into multiple people, and they would have been able to get away. Uh, like it wouldn't have even mattered. Or he could have just been like, tag, you're it, storehouse, tag, you're it, storehouse, and just left Hokuto there. Like anybody who was challenging him, he would have been able to do that. And if you remember, he moved the barrier guy there without touching him. So he doesn't even have to touch you to register you necessarily. So yeah, just something just a random another thing to think about. It's like how badly Hakuri being nerfed impacts the story. So I'm waiting to see Healthy and Prime uh Hakuri. Yeah. We all knew Mashiro was going to get packed. It's still a tragedy to see him go. Uh, Man, seeing how this impacts Sheba over the next couple chapters. Yeah, I think they. But if they're not on guard for it, I think it won't. I think he'll still be able to get him. I think they have to know and anticipate it. And if they don't know that's what he's going to do, it's kind of like if your guard. It's like cursed speech, right? If you properly protect against it, it doesn't matter. But if you don't see it coming, then you just kind of like, wait a second, what the hell? But yeah, appreciate you guys for coming through as always. Blah, Ponzu, Mello, Lucas, Brewski, I'm trying to see Ryan. We'll be talking Monday for sure. Tiger Blaster came through as well. Appreciate all you guys. Almost always have stuff to say. You always keep me on my toes and help me remember things that my brain hasn't been able to commit to. Hopefully, you guys have to do that less now that I'm not working 70 hours a week. But we'll see. Appreciate you guys. As always, stay safe. Hope to see you again next week. We're out.